In 2022, Gabriel Iglesias made history becoming the first comedian ever to sell out Dodger Stadium. But at his absolute peak, he almost walked away forever. Because before the lights, he was sleeping on balconies, betrayed in a hospital bed by executives, and worse.
And I can honestly say I've sacrificed everything. I've sacrificed family, friendships. I love the stage more than I love myself. The night my mom passed away, I was on a stage.
Lost in a slump and unable to top his own legacy, the world thought Fluffy had reached his end. Until he joined forces with Joe Coy for the biggest arena battle in stand-up history. This is how a broke kid from Long Beach conquered the world. Raised by a single mother as the youngest of 6 in Section 8 housing, Gabriel's life wasn't built for Hollywood. At age 10, while his mom was at bingo, he snuck a viewing of Eddie Murphy's Raw. It sparked a fire that led him to win his school talent show with cartoon impressions. But the reality of life hit hard. In 1997, he made a crazy decision. He quit his $5,000 a month cell phone job to pursue stand-up. His family thought he was insane.
When you first started, you needed to side hustle, and you were digging ditches.
At the time, I was working for a cell phone company called LA Cellular, like real close by to here. And I had quit my job to pursue comedy, and I found out right away that I wasn't doing enough to sustain myself. And so I needed to do stuff to just make money to pay the real quick money, but I didn't want to commit to something.
By year 2001, he finally landed his big break, joining Nickelodeon's hit sketch show, All That. He thought he had made it, but during a set maneuver, Gabriel suffered a devastating head injury. What happened next proved how cold the industry really was. Executives didn't show up at his hospital bed with flowers. They showed up with a liability contract, forcing him to sign away his rights.
They sent someone there to with a clipboard to get me to sign
a waiver,
saying that Nickelodeon's not responsible for the fact that I got injured on the set. And I'm like, so the guy's just there. He's like, you got to sign this. And I'm just like, well, what if I don't? And they're like, well, you're probably going to get fired. And so I'm like, they threatened me with that. And then I sign it. And then they fired me anyway. So yeah.
dirty.
Broken and blacklisted from network TV, Gabriel had to build an empire on his own terms. When his mother told him, "You're not fat, you're fluffy," he turned the insult into his brand. To make sure he was non-threatening to families, he put on bright Hawaiian shirts and made a radical choice. He cut out all profanity. If he was going clean, no network could ever tell him to edit his show again. But independence came with unbearable sacrifice. On December 1st, 2012, while Gabriel was on stage performing for thousands of cheering fans, his mother passed away. Sitting with that loss, Gabriel called it his single biggest regret, realizing that while he was giving his life to the stage, the world was moving on without him.
For those of you that don't remember, I used to say that there were 5 levels of fatness. The original 5 levels are big, healthy, husky, fluffy, and damn! One thing's for sure, I'm still the fluffy guy.
By May 2022, Fluffy's empire was undeniable. But what came next wasn't just another tour date. It was a historic collision between a local kid and his hometown. Headline spot, Dodger Stadium. The largest Major League Baseball stadium in the United States, a venue that had hosted legendary music icons like the Beatles, Michael Jackson, and Elton John, but never a solo stand-up comedian. Filling a 20,000-seat arena is already a career peak, but a 55,000-seat baseball stadium, that's not just a show, that's a massive gamble. No stand-up comedian in history had ever stepped onto the field at Dodger Stadium. But when the dust settled over 2 electric nights, Gabriel hadn't just sold out the venue, he'd moved over 70,000 tickets, shattering records in his own hometown. In the world of live entertainment, hitting the top comes with a hidden curse. When an artist achieves what no one else in history ever has, the entire industry immediately asks the exact same ruthless question: what could you possibly do next? For 2 years, that pressure hung over Gabriel's entire career. Headlines swirled, fans wondered if he had officially reached his ceiling, and behind the scenes, the sheer weight of trying to top a record-breaking stadium show created a massive creative wall. The triumph at Dodger Stadium was historic, but it left a massive, terrifying question mark over where his story was supposed to go from there. When you've spent 25 years grinding from empty bar rooms to the biggest baseball stadium in LA, losing the drive to climb higher isn't just a bump in the road, it's an existential crisis. Gabriel was locked in a slump, caught between a legacy he had already cemented and an uncertain future he wasn't sure he wanted to fight for. Gabriel realized that if he couldn't top his legacy alone, he had to change the rules of the game entirely. He reached out to another arena titan, Joe Coy. Combining the two massive fan bases of the Latino and Filipino communities, they announced an unprecedented event, one night only, at the 70,000-seat SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. It wasn't just a stand-up show, it was a cultural moment. Two guys who started in tiny coffee shops and dive bars were now sharing the biggest stage in North America, setting the record for the largest comedy crowd in history. They told him a kid from Section 8 couldn't make it. Corporate executives discarded him, and at his highest peak, even he thought his story had reached its end. This is how Gabriel Iglesias turned every betrayal, every sacrifice, and every dark night into the greatest comedy legacy in history, and proved that legends don't retire, they just find bigger stadiums.